what would you say were the habits and philosophies that really, would you say, propelled you to success and are really responsible for your success?
Understanding that with tomorrow comes a new day, understanding that what just happened doesn't define what's going to happen next week, next month, or next year. Creating the mindset with practicing law involves components that are outside of your control oftentimes. And when something goes sideways, when something unexpected happens, to treat it not as a failure, but as an unexpected result, learn from it, tweak things, change things up, and move forward with constant and never-ending improvement. So Andy, to be really honest with you, once I figured out that mindset, which came from listening to Tony Robbins tapes back in the day, trailering my dirt bike from Orange County across Ortega Highway down into Elsinore. We'd race motocross every single week. All my buddies are listening to rock and roll in their cars. I'm listening to Tony Robbins tapes. And once I listened to Tony explaining to me that it's okay, give yourself a break, just keep trying to improve a little bit each day. Once I figured that out, everything else fell into place because, as you well know, this is a competitive profession. And most of the clients that we see have life-changing, catastrophic injuries, wrongful death damages, business, loss of earnings damages, and they need help. And I think there's just a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. And when you described my history, when you described where I started and where I am right now, to me, the most important thing is I'm still smiling. I'm still enjoying what I'm doing. I'm more passionate and enthusiastic about rolling out of bed and practicing law today, 35 years later, and helping people than I ever have been in my life. And I know you're around a lot of lawyers. There aren't many lawyers that can say that after 10 or 15 years. So what we're talking about before going live comes down to having the right mindset, creating a practice where you enjoy helping the type of clients that you're representing. And then, for me, it's embracing the power of social and digital, which I know you teach to other lawyers, to complement everything that we've already just talked about. I think that's what makes the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry. My wife never called me, and
don't worry about it.
My wife never calls me, and I'm not sure why she's calling me right now.
Family first, Annie. That's the other thing. Look, let's be real. Orange County is one of the largest bar associations in the country. Some of the most successful lawyers on the planet are practicing here in Orange County, California. Yeah. And to be a first-generation college graduate, first-generation lawyer moving here, it was a very competitive environment. And when I did what all the other lawyers in town were doing when it comes to marketing and branding and how I litigated my cases, I was getting average results and all the above. In about 5 to 6 years into the practice, Andy, I gave myself permission to just, what happened was I found a couple of the lawyers now at the courthouse that like to ride motocross too.
Yeah.
And for those of you that race dirt bikes, Southern California is the place to live and breathe and race dirt bikes. In fact, I raced for 38 years. And at that time, it was a 30 and over, 35 and over series. And all of a sudden, I found myself down the track with a handful of other local lawyers that like to ride dirt bikes. So they wanted to learn how to ride dirt bikes. And we started referring cases back and forth to each other. And other lawyers at the courthouse started asking us questions. You race motocross? That's really cool. Tell me more. And all of a sudden, the light bulb went on. And I've never been accused of being the sharpest knife in the drawer, but the light bulb went on. It's because I was doing something different that allowed me to build meaningful relationships with great referral sources that also allowed people to start thinking about me instead of that top lawyer in town that just handled that $1 billion class action case against Toyota. It's because of the hobbies, the interests, and passions. So what we all started doing, especially as the internet started rolling out, as social media and video started rolling out, is we started sharing pictures and stories and blog posts. And we started talking about professional racing contracts and what AMA and Supercross riders needed to take into consideration. And we incorporated the law into what we were enjoying and doing, and other people took notice. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it was a snowball effect. And I realized that also happens with paddleboarding, with hang gliding, with running, with talking about trial advocacy, with being on shows like this with you. It's just being unique and different that helps you stand out. So that's when the magic happened.